Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The early history of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul, USA. Islam in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, often referred to as the Twin Cities, has a much longer history than many people imagine. The Muslim presence in the city began in the early 20th century, although at that time, the number was very small and not widely known to the general public. The first wave of Muslims to come to Minneapolis-St. Paul came from the Middle East, primarily from Lebanon, Syria, and other Ottoman territories. They came as immigrants seeking new opportunities in the United States, attracted by industrial development, jobs in the manufacturing sector, and the hope of finding a more stable life after the conflict and political changes in their home countries. In this early period, the Muslim community lived a simple life. They did not have an official mosque or dedicated building for worship. Most worship was conducted in people's homes, small apartments, or borrowed spaces for congregational prayers. Despite this, the sense of brotherhood and the effort to maintain their Islamic identity remained strong. Each year, they celebrated Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha with small gatherings that became the forerunners of today's Muslim community. The development of the Muslim community began to become more visible in the mid-20th century as the number of Muslim immigrants increased in line with increasing global migration. These immigrants began to establish more organized community structures, including the formation of social groups, cultural organizations, and more regular religious activities. However, the most significant change occurred in the late 1980s and early 1990s, when a wave of refugees from East Africa, particularly Somalia, began arriving in Minneapolis-St. Paul. This arrival of the Somali community was a turning point and fueled the rapid growth of Islam in the Twin Cities area. They brought with them strong Islamic traditions, a strong sense of community, and a significant population, so that Islam gradually became a visible part of the city's identity. This initial phase laid the foundation for the subsequent development of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul. From a small community without a mosque to one of the largest and most influential centers of Muslim growth in the United States. The growth of the Somali Muslim community in Minneapolis-St. Paul. The growth of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul reached a significant milestone when the Somali community began arriving in large numbers in the late 1980s and early 1990s. They arrived as refugees from the civil war that ravaged Somalia, seeking safety, stability, and new hope for the future. Minneapolis was chosen because it offered a robust refugee assistance program, a welcoming community, and better job opportunities than many other parts of America. In a short time, the Somali community flourished and became one of the largest immigrant groups in the Twin Cities. They not only significantly increased the Muslim population, but also brought with them a strong and well-preserved Islamic identity. From their dress and customs to their prayer traditions, the Somali community quickly shaped the new face of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul. The Cedar Riverside neighborhood, now known as Little Mogadishu, became the center of Somali Muslim life. There, the atmosphere of Islamic life can be felt daily. Rows of halal food stores, East African restaurants, Muslim barbershops, community-owned small businesses, and religious study groups and activities taking place almost constantly. Beyond the economic vibrancy, the growth of the Somali community has also strengthened Islamic institutions in the Twin Cities. Many mosques have been established or expanded, such as Dar al-Hijra Islamic Center, Abu Bakr as-Sadiq Islamic Center, Al-Ihsan Mosque, Islamic Dawah Center. These mosques serve not only as places of worship, but also as centers for education, family counseling, social assistance, and shelter for newcomers. The Somali Muslim community is also known for its active involvement in education and social work. They have established Islamic schools, Quranic study centers, and even nonprofit organizations that help new immigrants adapt to life in America. Many young Somalis are growing up with a passion for contributing to the wider community, both through education and public service. One of the most prominent figures from this community is Ilhan Omar, a Somali-American Muslim woman who successfully ran for the United States Congress. Her presence reflects the power and influence of the Somali Muslim community in shaping a new narrative about diversity in America. The growth of this Somali community not only increased the number of Muslims in Minneapolis-St. Paul, but also shaped the unique character of local Islam, a blend of East African traditions and modern American life, which has become a key pillar of Islamic development in the Twin Cities area to this day. Daily life of Muslims in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Following rapid growth in the Muslim community, Minneapolis-St. Paul is now one of the most vibrant Muslim areas in the United States. The diversity of cultures, traditions, and backgrounds makes Muslim life in the Twin Cities dynamic, organized, and colorful. In both urban Minneapolis and the suburbs of St. Paul, Muslim activities and routines are seamlessly integrated into modern American life. Mosques are bustling with visitors every day, both longtime residents and second and third generation Muslim Americans who grew up here. One common sight is that of Muslims who maintain prayer times despite their busy schedules. Many companies, shopping centers, and even government offices provide dedicated prayer rooms or allow Muslim employees to leave their jobs for prayer. This demonstrates the strong social significance of tolerance and diversity in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Furthermore, Muslim community life is strongly felt in community centers. The city is home to numerous halal restaurants serving dishes from various countries, including Somalia, Pakistan, Lebanon, and Turkey, as well as modern American halal cuisine. These restaurants serve not only as places to eat, but also as places for community gatherings, discussions, and sharing stories about life abroad. Neighborhoods like Cedar Riverside, Phillips, and the area around the University of Minnesota are vibrant hubs for the Muslim community. At the University of Minnesota, the Muslim Student Association, MSA, is very active in activities such as Islamic studies, breaking the fast together, social activities, and outreach to non-Muslim students through interfaith dialogue. Family traditions also play a vital role in maintaining Muslim identity. In Minneapolis-St. Paul, Muslim families often hold religious study sessions at home, study the Quran with their children, and celebrate major holidays like Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr with great enthusiasm. Every year, thousands of Muslims gather at stadiums or convention centers to perform Eid prayers, creating a majestic spectacle that further demonstrates the presence of the Muslim community in the city. Beyond spirituality, the Muslim community is also thriving in the fields of education and healthcare. Many Muslims work as doctors, nurses, teachers, professors, and even entrepreneurs. Some Islamic schools, such as Al-Amal School and Tariq ibn Ziyad Academy, are even preferred by Muslim families for providing a balanced religious and academic education for their children. Muslim life in Minneapolis-St. Paul is also known for its harmony. This community actively builds good relationships with the wider community, participating in social activities, fundraising, and supporting neighbors and interfaith communities. Their presence is well received, and cultural diversity is considered a strength that enriches the character of the Twin Cities. This is what makes Minneapolis-St. Paul one of the best examples of how Islam and modern American life can coexist, complement each other, and thrive together in a peaceful atmosphere. The growth of mosques, Islamic institutions, and religious infrastructure. The growth of the Muslim community in Minneapolis-St. Paul is evident not only in its population, but also in the development of mosques, Islamic institutions, and a growing religious infrastructure. Over the past 2 decades, the Twin Cities region has seen a significant increase in the construction of facilities supporting Muslim life, making the city one of the most active centers of Islamic activity in North America. In its early days, Muslims in Minneapolis-St. Paul had only a few small places of worship, rented or temporary spaces. However, as the Muslim population and the need for worship increased, many new mosques emerged, both independently built by the community and converted from former churches or other public facilities. Some of the largest and most influential mosques in the region include 1. Abu Bakr as-Sadiq Islamic Center, the largest mosque in the Twin Cities and a hub for the Somali community. Thousands of worshipers attend Friday prayers each week. The mosque also hosts a Quranic school, family counseling programs, and social activities to support new immigrants and refugees. 2. Dar al-Hijra Islamic Center. Located in the Cedar Riverside area, This mosque serves as a spiritual home for many Muslims living in Little Mogadishu. In addition to a place of worship, Dar al-Hijra provides space for English language learning, legal counseling, free healthcare, and various Islamic educational activities. 3. Islamic Center of Minnesota, ICM. One of the oldest Islamic institutions in Minnesota, ICM has a large mosque, a weekend school for children, a Quranic teaching program, and a community space for large events such as weddings and family gatherings. 4. Masjid al-Ihsan and Masjid al-Noor. These mosques serve Muslim communities from diverse backgrounds, including Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Arab, and North African. They are active in dawah activities, Islamic studies, and youth programs. The role of Islamic schools in Muslim education. The growth of mosques has been accompanied by the emergence of many Islamic educational institutions. These schools are important places for young people to learn about their religion while still receiving a quality academic education. Some prominent Islamic schools in Minneapolis-St. Paul include Al-Amal School, one of the oldest Islamic schools with a comprehensive curriculum from kindergarten through 12th grade high school. Tariq Ibn Ziyad Academy provides an Islamic values-based education with a modern approach. Metro Islamic School focuses on Quran memorization and character building. The existence of these schools demonstrates the Muslim community's commitment to building a strong, well-educated future for young people who adhere to Islamic values. Community centers, social services, and Muslim nonprofit organizations. In addition to mosques and schools, many Islamic social organizations are thriving in the Twin Cities. They provide humanitarian services such as food assistance, family counseling, legal assistance, mental health support, cultural adjustment programs for new immigrants, housing assistance. Organizations such as the Islamic Civic Society of America, ICSA, and Al-Ma'un Community Outreach actively assist the underprivileged, regardless of religion or background. They reinforce the image of Islam as a caring religion that benefits all. Ramadan life and Eid al-Fitr celebrations. When Ramadan arrives, Minneapolis-St. Paul transforms into a city filled with spiritual light. Mosques host free iftars daily. Thousands of residents attend Taraweeh prayers, and a strong sense of community is palpable. On Eid al-Fitr, large convention centers like the Minneapolis Convention Center or local stadiums are used for Eid prayers, attended by thousands of worshipers. This scene is a clear testament to the size and strength of the Muslim community in this region. The influence of Muslims in American society and their traces in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Over time, the Muslim presence in Minneapolis-St. Paul has become evident not only in mosques and Islamic schools, but also in their significant contributions to various aspects of American life. Muslims in the Twin Cities are now a vital part of the new face of the United States, more inclusive, more diverse, and stronger. Economically, the Muslim community has made a significant impact through the thousands of small businesses they operate. From halal restaurants and bakeries to logistics businesses, health clinics, clothing boutiques, and technology companies, Muslim economic contributions help create jobs for thousands of people. Many Muslim entrepreneurs participate in local markets, bringing innovation and introducing halal products that are now becoming more widely recognized by non-Muslim communities. In the healthcare sector, many Muslim professionals work as doctors, nurses, and medical personnel in major hospitals in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Their contributions have been particularly felt during the COVID-19 pandemic, when many Muslim medical personnel have been on the front lines, helping to save lives regardless of religious or ethnic boundaries. Younger generations of Muslims are increasingly active in education and politics. Universities like the University of Minnesota have many accomplished Muslim students who are involved in campus organizations. They act as bridges for interfaith dialogue, promote tolerance, and promote Islam as a religion of peace and human values. Minneapolis-St. Paul is even the birthplace of one of America's most influential Muslim figures, Ilhan Omar, a Muslim woman of Somali descent who became a member of the U.S. Congress. Her arrival marked a major shift in American political history, that a Muslim woman wearing a hijab could now serve in this superpower's legislature. However, it's not just famous figures who make an impact. The simple stories of everyday Muslims also create change around them. Many are active in social causes such as giving food to the homeless, organizing food drives, helping new immigrants adapt, and fostering interfaith dialogue with churches and synagogues. This spirit of caring is what makes the Muslim community in Minneapolis-St. Paul so respected by the wider community. They are not just new residents or a minority, but part of the city's social foundation. Minneapolis-St. Paul has also witnessed many converts to Islam who have found guidance. These include students, professional workers, and local residents who are curious about Islam after observing the morals of Muslims in their daily lives. Many churches and local communities invite religious teachers, ustad, or imams, to engage in dialogue, address misconceptions about Islam, and strengthen interfaith relationships. All of this demonstrates that Muslims are not merely present in numbers, but also make real contributions and add color to American society. Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul is growing not through coercion, but through morals, social contributions, and exemplary behavior. If you'd like, I can continue with step 6, for example, about the challenges Muslims face, how they maintain their Islamic identity, or the future of Islam in the Twin Cities. Challenges, identity, and the future of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul. Despite the rapid and encouraging growth of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul, the Muslim community's journey is not without challenges. They must navigate the various social, cultural, and political dynamics that arise as Muslims grow within a diverse American society. One major challenge is the issue of identity. First-generation Muslims, particularly immigrants from Somalia, the Middle East, and South Asia, often struggle to maintain their culture and traditions while adapting to American life. They hold strong Islamic values, but at the same time understand that their children are growing up in environments very different from their homelands. Younger Muslims in Minneapolis-St. Paul struggle to find a balance between being devout Muslims and active American citizens. This challenge is evident in their school life, work life, and daily relationships. However, many of them have successfully combined the two, exemplifying tolerance, intelligence, and complementary diversity. Furthermore, Muslims also face challenges in the form of stigma and stereotypes. In recent years, issues of Islamophobia have increased across America, and Minneapolis-St. Paul is not entirely immune to this. However, the Muslim community has responded wisely, strengthening interfaith dialogue, holding open events at the mosque, and inviting non-Muslims to learn more about Islam. These steps have opened the hearts of many and reduced misunderstandings. On the other hand, some communities, especially new immigrants, continue to face economic and social challenges. Therefore, local Islamic organizations are increasingly active in providing support, such as food assistance, job training, English language education, and mental health services. This assistance is not only for Muslims, but also for the general community, making Islam a social force that contributes to all. Despite the challenges, the future of Islam in Minneapolis-St. Paul looks very bright. The rise of a generation of educated, engaged, and accomplished Muslims is paving the way for a greater role in business, education, technology, and politics. Many young Muslims are now successfully attending prestigious universities, becoming leaders in organizations, and participating in large-scale social activities. Mosques continue to grow, Islamic schools are growing in strength, and Dawah activities are proceeding peacefully and energetically.